Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Kitchen with another video. And today's video, I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do this video for a long time, since the beginning of my channel, and just talking about them. That is, today I'm going to show you my top 5 favorite directors. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this video for a long time because I'm a film student and I want to become a director. So I'm currently on that, and you know, directors are kind of directing is probably my dream career, and who knows. But there's a lot of great filmmakers that I adore and love their filmography and just the person himself basically, and just follow their career for a long time. In my top 5, this particular top 5 are pretty much my idols basically, and I follow them for years and years and just always look for what's coming next in their filmography line, and getting exciting the brand new film that they're going to make, and they're coming out on release date, and I'll be watching them in the first day of release because I just love supporting them because they're phenomenal filmmakers. And yeah, enough chatting. Let's share my honorable mentions that did not make the cut. So the honorable mentions are Sidney Lumet, David Fincher, Wes Anderson, Stanley Kubrick, Matthew Vaughn, Christopher Nolan, and I'd like to make a shout out to my Latinos, Alfonso Cuarón and Alejandro González Iñárritu. Yeah, those did not make the cut to my top 5. I decided to do my top 10 because, I don't want this video to be long, but the honorable that I mentioned are phenomenal filmmakers that I've always looked forward to seeing new projects coming online, and some of the projects that they have that I've always looked forward to seeing them that I've never seen before, because there's some, besides with Sidney Lumet and Stanley Kubrick that is no longer with us, but I've always looked forward to seeing their film that I have not yet seen, and that's always a good thing because I have several Stanley Kubrick films that I've not seen yet, and so as Sidney Lumet, there's several films I've not seen yet, but I'm always look forward to seeing them for the very first time in a fresh eyes because they are phenomenal filmmakers. Now let's get on to my top 5 favorite filmmakers or directors in case. Number 5 go to a director who's only done animated films, works with Disney, that is Pete Docter. Every film that he had made, never a miss. It's always a hit after hit after hit. He made films such as Monster Inc., Up, Inside Out, and the most recent masterpiece, Soul. So this is a very capable director, knows what storytelling is. He knows how to make good movies with good stories that makes it wonderful to watch. And like something originality basically. He knows what's up. He loves from every time when the Pete Docter name goes by, I'm like, yep, I'm in. I don't need to know any trailers. I'm going in because this is directed by Pete Docter. That's what got me when they announced Soul and Inside Out is going to be directed by Pete Docter. I'm like, yep. From the director who did Up and Monster Inc., yep, I'm down. This is type of guy who knows how to do good stories, who knows how to tell good stories with a powerful message on it. And just, he's a phenomenal, creative, imaginative, and a storyteller as well. He knows how to make a character that is so grounded and complex. At the same time, you're rooting for the characters. He does that all the time with Monster Inc., Up, Inside Out, and the most recent Soul. He made the characters believable and just rooting for them. Pete Docter is a filmmaker that I want to see more films from him. Please never stop making films because they're amazing and we need more originality in the Hollywood system. And that's why Pete Docter is my number 5. Number 4 go to the man himself, Quentin Tarantino. Every time he's announced that he's going to make another film, it always excites me that we're going to see a brand new Quentin Tarantino film on the big screen. And my first film that I ever saw in a theater directed by him was Django Unchained. What an experience. Every time he makes a new movie, it's always going to be an experience that like no other. The Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, those are the type of films that feel like events, basically. And he makes original films. He makes his own style. He makes his own dialogue. This is his film. You can tell that this is Tarantino world. This is his mindset. From Pulp Fiction to Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, probably my favorite film from him. He has his own style, a very unique style, and he's not afraid to go risk and just go for it. He go for it if he has to. And he makes very unique characters that are fascinating yet flesh out and wonderful character that he creates on his mind, on page, and on a big screen. And yeah, every film that he made, it feels like an event. And I'm still missing one more film from him that I've not seen, that's Jack and Brown. And I cannot wait to say that I finally watched all his filmography up to date. And of course, he's making more films because it's Quentin Tarantino. I just love his style and his dialogue and the story that he tells. It's just Quentin Tarantino is a master in directing basically and storytelling as well. He understands filmmaking. Number three, he's a Latino, he's a Mexican, and I'm Mexican, and he's my idol basically. That is Guillermo del Toro. I love the man. He's iconic to me. He's my idol, and he had the sense of charm that he loves creating a world building world on into his films. He made one of my favorite films, Pan's Labyrinth, but he made one of the most entertaining films in his filmography, that is Pacific Rim. He goes all out with his creature designs and the wonderful imaginative head that he has that creates storytelling. And I cannot wait to see Nightmare Alley, I believe I should call, that's coming out this year, hopefully. And he understands story. He understands characters. He understands that his style of filmmaking. And I love Guillermo del Toro. I was so happy when he won an Oscar for Best Director and Best Picture for Shape of Water, which is a beautiful film, and I love that film. That film should be in Criterion, by the way. Just saying. But not only that, being not the fact that I'm being biased because he's Mexican, but this is something I look after. Guillermo del Toro is a man I look after because he's Mexican. He's kind of like me. He come from a very small town like me, and he became one of the most well-known filmmaker that everybody want to work with him. And I want to meet him and say thank you for all the film that he creates, from Hellboy to Pan's Labyrinth to Chronos, The Devil Backbone, and the Pacific Rim, and the most recent, The Shape of Water. And this is the type of director, when he makes a new film, I'm always going to look forward to seeing a brand new Guillermo del Toro film because it's Guillermo del Toro. When his name popped up on the screen, I'm like, yep, take my money. You know, it's Guillermo del Toro. I mean, what more can I say? I just love the man himself. That's Guillermo del Toro, and that's why he is my number three. Number two, go to an incredible filmmaker. That is Akira Kurosawa. I love his filmography. I love his directing style. His storytelling. It's just, and also he's one of the most fascinating human beings. He came from the painting world in a small business, and it towards up to become a director. He made one of the most epic film that he created, that is Seven Samurai, and then Throne of Blood, one of my favorite Macbeth adaptation that he has done. And he's just an incredible filmmaker with an incredible eye into attention to detail, to the characters and the story. And even though how tragic his life is in the last few years from him, but the fact that he still loved film, he still loved making films. And one time when he said he wishes that he would die on set, and that never happened. But a beautiful filmmaker that knows storytelling. Even though I'm not seeing all of his filmography, but I'm trying to savor it. Because it's Akira Kurosawa. I mean, one of my favorite films from him is Dreams, and second place go to Seven Samurai, or Throne of Blood is mixed. It's it changes every time. But Akira Kurosawa is just very inspirational. Every time I see his films, it always brings a big smile on my face. Even on rewatch, I'm like, this is Kurosawa. This is Akira Kurosawa. Iconic director. I remember watching Seven Samurai for the very first time, knowing nothing who's Akira Kurosawa. But when I watched Seven Samurai, I was like, after finishing watching Seven Samurai, I was like, I need to see more of his filmography, and I did. I checked out Dawn of Blood, Ikiru, The Hidden Fortress, Kakemusha, Chichiwa, and Jonjimbo. He had a very phenomenal list of films in his career, and it sucks what happened in the last few years that the studio never financed his film. Some of his films that never done well in the box office, like Dreams, but um, he has some help from Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, and George Lucas to finance his film, to make his film come to life. And it's just wonderful to see how much of an impact many directors that love Akira Kurosawa, and I love Akira Kurosawa. He definitely made an impact for me watching his films. That this is storytelling, and his direction is just immaculate. It's just beautiful to look at as well. And this is the type of director I want to meet, even though she's dead. This is the type of director I want to shake his hand and say, "You're one of the greats," and Akira Kurosawa is one of the greats. And my number one, this is biased. I mean, come on, it's Steven Spielberg, my idol, my hero, my god. He is my god in anything. I have a bunch of his films on Blu-ray. Actually, I have all his films on Blu-ray except Empire of the Sun because that Blu-ray is out of print. There's a couple of his films I've not seen yet, but I'm trying to, save it for the perfect time. But what can I say that has already been said to the man himself, Steven Spielberg? He's iconic for a reason. He's one of the best directors for a reason. He's the type of director that loves films, and he still remains one of my idols for a long time. I remember watching E.T. and Jurassic Park for the very first time, knowing nothing of Steven Spielberg. Coming in, and then E.T. changed my life, and knowing when I watched Jurassic Park, after finishing Jurassic Park, that's where the idea gave to me, saying, yeah, I want to become a director like Steven Spielberg. He's the director I just look upon and just see him, and just he's a very inspirational. He's inspiring to me. He inspired me to become a director, and for a lot of reasons, I thank to him, because film is always going to be an escape. He makes anything. He makes so many genres that he already done them all. He makes sci-fi, fantasy, epic, war, drama, adventure. He's done a lot. And when you see his filmography, a lot of his films are iconic for a lot of reasons. Hook, Indiana Jones, E.T., Jaws. I mean, name them all. Like, he's an incredible filmmaker that I'm so glad he continued to work in the industry. He continued to make films because films are an escape. He does that. He knows how to make great stories come to life. He understands that because he's a film fan like me, and he's became one of the most well-known directors of all time. And I would love, if I ever meet him, I'll be starstruck. I mean, I wouldn't talk to him. I was like, froze still and just look at him and say, oh my god, my idol, my hero. Steven Spielberg is my hero for a lot of reasons. And some of his films are my favorite films of all time. E.T. is one of my favorite films of all time, and still do remains to this day. It's one of my most rewatchable films from his filmography to this day. That's how special of Steven Spielberg to me. He inspired me. He helped me what I become to this day. I mean, Steven Spielberg as a whole brings a lot of imagination and sense of wonder, and just he made films that's just close dear to my heart for a lot of things, for a lot of reasons. And I just can't believe he's still working as a director. He's still working in Hollywood, and he's still making films, despite the age that he's in. He's still making films. He made one of the biggest blockbusters that's very very technical film that's Ready Player One. A very different departure from all of his filmography. But you gotta think about it. I mean, basically, I grew up with his films. Imagine not being a film fan, not being a film fan, and never watch any Steven Spielberg films. Where would I be? Without Steven Spielberg, without the inspiration that I want to become a director because of him, where would I be? Steven Spielberg will always remain my idol, my hero. He made incredible films that made an impact that, no doubt, that he's still working. I mean, Steven Spielberg is one of my favorite directors of all time for that a lot of reason why he's in my number one. Because he's just that magnificent as a director. He knows how to make stories. He made just he made an amazing career. He made a lot of great films that are magic, but sometimes he goes grounded with Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List that won Best Director for him, and just a phenomenal director. I cannot praise enough of Steven Spielberg. He is my idol. He is my hero. I know I'm saying that multiple times, but I just cannot think that he will stop making films. I don't think he's gonna stop making films. I think he's gonna continue making films until he died. And I love the fact that he's still working as a director to this day. Every film that he's going to make, I always look forward to seeing. I mean, yes, he makes some misses, like Indiana Jones 4, but he hasn't given up. He's still making great films over the years. And with that, Steven Spielberg, if you're watching this, thank you for making me who I am and finding my career dream that I've always wanted to become a director because of you. And I know I'm not making much sense, but in short, Steven Spielberg is my idol. He is my number one favorite director of all time for a lot of that reason. He's the king of cinema, basically. I mean, for God's sake, I own multiple editions of E.T., one of my favorite films of all time, directed by Steven Spielberg. I own the 4K, the Digibook, the regular Blu-ray, the DVD, and the VHS. I mean, that's how special all of Steven Spielberg to me is, and that's how special E.T. to me is. And without a doubt, there's no reason, I mean, there's a reason why he became one of the best in the business. Because he understands story, he understands filmmaking, he understands directing, creating some wonderful characters, some wonderful stories come to life. For the magical that is the 80s that he made some hit after hit after hit after hit. He made one of the biggest blockbusters ever, that Jaws. And then E.T. that... What I'm trying to say that it's Steven Spielberg. I mean, come on, it's Steven Spielberg. There you have it, guys. This is my top 5 favorite directors of all time. And this is my opinion. And yeah, I talk a lot about Steven Spielberg. Sorry about that. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and have a great one. And take care.